Imagine this. You walk into a five-star hotel, the kind with gold chandeliers, marble floors, and a scent so fancy it smells like money. You're exhausted from a long trip, just trying to check in, but the receptionist gives you a look, the kind that makes your skin crawl. You ask for a room, and she says, "Sorry, we're full." But then, right behind you, a couple walks up, asks for a room, and guess what? She gives it to them. Just like that. No questions asked. Now imagine this. That hotel belongs to you. You own the place. But the people at the front desk don't know that. They've already decided you don't belong. What would you do? Would you walk away, call them out, or would you make them regret it in the most epic way possible? Well, today's story is exactly that. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around till the end because the way this plays out, it's going to leave you speechless. But before we jump in, where are you watching from and what time is it? Drop it in the comments. Maya Carter wasn't born into wealth. She didn't have connections, and no doors were opened for her. She grew up in a small apartment with her mother, who worked long shifts as a hotel housekeeper just to put food on the table. Every night, Maya watched her mom come home exhausted, her hands rough from scrubbing floors, her back aching from changing hundreds of bed sheets a day. But no matter how tired she was, she always told Maya the same thing. Work hard, be smart, and never let anyone tell you what you can't do. Maya took those words to heart. While other kids played outside, she was at the kitchen table studying. She knew education was her only way out. But college wasn't easy. She didn't have money for tuition, so she worked, day shifts as a hotel receptionist, night shifts as a waitress, and weekends cleaning rooms, just like her mom. She saw firsthand how workers in the hospitality industry were treated. She saw managers looking down on housekeepers, waiters being ignored, and how people judged others based on their uniforms, not their abilities. Even when she graduated with a business degree, success didn't come easy. The corporate world had its own set of rules, and many of them weren't made for people like her. She applied for jobs at top hotel chains, only to be rejected or told she wasn't the right fit. And when she did get hired, she was overlooked, her ideas dismissed, and her work credited to others. While her white colleagues got promotions, she was told to be patient. But patience wasn't going to build the life she dreamed of. So Maya did what no one expected. Instead of waiting for a chance, she created one. She started small, buying a rundown motel with her savings and a bank loan no one thought she'd get. She worked day and night to turn it around, doing everything from management to cleaning rooms herself. That one motel turned into 2, then 3. Eventually, she bought a failing luxury hotel chain that industry experts had written off. But Maya saw potential where others saw failure. She rebranded, renovated, and rebuilt until Carter Luxe Hotels became one of the most exclusive hotel chains in the country. Now, Maya Carter is a 38-year-old self-made millionaire. Her name is respected, her hotels are booked solid, and her success is undeniable. But even with all that, some people still refuse to see her as the boss. They see a black woman and assume she doesn't belong. They think she's a guest, a worker, anything but the CEO. And as Maya is about to find out, some of them are bold enough to say it to her face. Maya had spent years proving herself. She had built an empire, broken barriers, and earned a level of success most people could only dream of. But none of that mattered as she stepped into the grand lobby of one of her own hotels, dressed in nothing but jeans, a jacket, and a cap. After weeks of back-to-back meetings and business trips, she decided to drop by unannounced. No assistance, no luxury car, no special treatment. She wanted to see how her staff treated everyday guests, especially the ones who didn't walk in wearing designer suits. The Carter Lux Hotel lobby was as elegant as ever. Gleaming floors, towering chandeliers, and the kind of quiet, expensive atmosphere that made people lower their voices. But the moment Maya approached the front desk, she could feel it. The shift. The way the two receptionists, Emily and Sarah, barely glanced at her before exchanging a quick look. The kind of look that made it clear they had already made up their minds about her. Still, Maya smiled and said, "Good evening. I'd like a presidential suite for the night." Emily raised an eyebrow and folded her arms. "We don't accept walk-ins without a credit check." Her voice was slow, condescending, like she was speaking to someone who wouldn't understand. Then she added, "Also, we're fully booked." Maya tilted her head slightly. Fully booked? That was interesting, considering she had just checked the hotel's occupancy reports that morning. There were at least 3 suites still available. Before she could respond, a well-dressed couple walked up to the desk. A man in a tailored suit and a woman carrying a designer handbag. The type of guests Emily and Sarah had been waiting for. "Welcome to Carter Lux," Emily said, her voice suddenly warm and professional. "Do you have a reservation?" "No, but we'd like a suite for the night," the man said casually. Without hesitation, Sarah smiled. "Of course. We have a few options available. Would you prefer a city view or a garden view?" Maya felt something tighten in her chest. She had expected to be treated differently. It wasn't the first time people judged her based on how she looked. But watching them deny her while handing a suite to the next guest in line, that was something else. She took a breath and stepped forward. "I just saw you give them a room. Why are you telling me you're full?" Emily's smile disappeared. She glanced at Sarah before looking back at Maya. "Like I said, we have standards here. We can't just let anyone stay." Maya's jaw clenched. "Anyone?" Sarah sighed loudly, as if she was getting tired of the conversation. "Look, I don't know what you're trying to pull, but this is a luxury hotel. Maybe try somewhere more in your range." Maya froze. Not because she was surprised. She had dealt with people like this her whole life. But because no matter how successful she became, no matter how much she achieved, there would always be people who looked at her and saw less. For a moment, she just stood there, letting the words sink in, letting the weight of the moment settle. Then slowly, she smiled. This was going to be interesting. Maya took a deep breath, her expression calm, but inside she was waiting for the perfect moment. If they thought they could brush her off so easily, they were about to learn just how wrong they were. She tilted her head slightly and asked again, "Are you sure there are no rooms available?" Emily let out an annoyed sigh. "Like I said, we don't have space for people like you, people like you." Maya had heard those words in different ways, in different places her whole life. But this time, they were being said in her hotel, by employees who were supposed to uphold the values she had built her business on. Before she could say another word, Sarah waved over security. A tall man in a black suit started making his way toward them. "You need to leave," Sarah said, crossing her arms. "This isn't that kind of hotel." Maya kept her expression neutral, but her grip tightened on the strap of her bag. She wasn't leaving. Not yet. As the security guard got closer, Maya gave a polite smile. "Actually, I'd like to speak with the hotel manager." Emily smirked. "Oh, you want the manager now?" She shared a look with Sarah. "Fine, you can talk to him, but don't expect anything different." A few moments later, a man in a crisp navy suit walked out from the back office. His name tag read, "Mr. Reynolds, General Manager." He took one look at Maya and let out a small scoff. "What's the problem here?" he asked, clearly uninterested. Sarah gestured toward Maya. She's demanding a room even though we're fully booked. Mr. Reynolds looked Maya up and down, not even bothering to hide his disdain. We don't do charity cases. Maya's jaw tightened. That was it. That was all she needed to hear. Without another word, she reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. She pressed a button and put the call on speaker. The phone rang once, twice. Then, a clear, professional voice answered. "Good evening. This is the Carter Looks corporate office. How may I assist you?" Maya's voice was steady as she spoke. "Hello, this is Maya Carter. I'm standing in the lobby of my own hotel, being refused service." The moment the name Maya Carter left her lips, the atmosphere shifted. The security guard hesitated mid-step. Emily's smirk disappeared. Sarah's face lost all its confidence. And Mr. Reynolds? His eyes widened slightly, but he quickly tried to recover. Maya continued, her voice unwavering. "Fire Emily, Sarah, and Reynolds immediately." Dead silence. Emily let out a nervous laugh as if she still thought this was a joke. Wait, what?" Sarah's mouth opened, but no words came out. Mr. Reynolds, on the other hand, went pale. "Miss Carter, Maya held up a hand. "Save it." On the other end of the call, the corporate office responded immediately. "Understood, Miss Carter. We'll handle their termination paperwork right away." The color drained from Mr. Reynolds's face. He had just gone from general manager to unemployed in seconds. Emily's face was frozen in shock. Sarah looked like she might cry. Mr. Reynolds stood there, stiff, his hands trembling slightly. The reality of what had just happened was sinking in. Emily was the first to speak, her voice shaking. "Miss Carter, we had no idea." Sarah quickly nodded. "Please, if we had known who you were, we would never." Maya raised a hand, cutting them off. "And that's the problem." They both went silent. Maya's voice was calm, but firm. "You judge people before you know who they are. You assume someone in casual clothes doesn't belong. You decide someone's worth based on how they look. Do you realize how many people you've turned away just because of your bias?" Emily opened her mouth, then closed it. There was nothing she could say. Security stepped forward. This time, not for Maya, but for Mr. Reynolds. One of the guards gestured toward the door. "Sir, you need to leave." Mr. Reynolds clenched his jaw, but he knew better than to argue. With a stiff nod, he turned and walked toward the exit. The man who had once run this hotel now had to step out like an unwanted guest. The remaining staff watched, their eyes wide. The entire lobby was silent. Maya exhaled, then did something that made everyone's jaw drop. She stepped behind the reception desk, sat at the computer, and logged into the system. Within seconds, her name popped up on the screen as the guest in the presidential suite. Maya stood up and picked up the keycard. She glanced at Emily and Sarah one last time. "Next time, treat every guest with respect. You never know who you're speaking to." Then, without another word, she walked away. The next morning, Maya took action. She called an emergency staff meeting in the hotel's conference room. Every employee, from the cleaning crew to the kitchen staff, was present. Some of them had heard about what happened the night before. Others had seen it with their own eyes. Maya stood at the front of the room, looking at the people who worked in her hotel. "Let me make something clear," she said, her voice steady. "This is not just about what happened to me. It's about the culture we create in this company." She took a deep breath and continued. "From today forward, Carter Lux Hotels will have a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination. Every employee will be required to complete diversity training. Every guest will be treated with the same respect, no matter what they look like." The room was silent. Some people looked uncomfortable. Others nodded in agreement. Then, Maya turned to a young black woman standing quietly in the back. Lisa, one of the receptionists. The night before, Lisa had witnessed everything. She had wanted to speak up, but had been too afraid to lose her job. Maya gave her a reassuring smile. "Lisa, please come forward." Lisa hesitated, then slowly stepped up. "Yes, Miss Carter." Maya looked at the staff and said, "Lisa has been working here for 2 years. She has done her job with excellence. She has shown kindness to every guest, and yet she's been overlooked for promotions, while others who don't work as hard get ahead." A few people shifted in their seats. They knew it was true. Maya turned back to Lisa. "That ends today. Lisa, you are now the new assistant manager of this hotel." Lisa's eyes widened. "What?" Maya smiled. "You deserve this." Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes as the room erupted into applause. Maya looked at the staff one last time and said, "From now on, we judge people by their character, not their color. And if anyone has a problem with that, this is not the hotel for you." The message was clear. The culture at Carter Lux Hotels had changed for good. As Maya walked through the grand lobby, she felt a sense of peace. The hotel, her hotel, now stood for something greater. It wasn't just about luxury. It was about respect, fairness, and belonging. As she approached the exit, she noticed an elderly black couple standing nearby. The woman clutched her husband's arm, her eyes filled with emotion. She hesitated for a moment, then slowly stepped forward. "Excuse me, dear," the woman said softly. Maya turned, offering a warm smile. "Yes?" The woman's voice trembled as she spoke. "My husband and I, we've been turned away from places like this our whole lives. No matter how much money we had, no matter how well we dressed, there was always someone looking at us like we didn't belong." Her husband nodded, his weathered hands tightening around hers. "Seeing you here, owning this place, it means the world." Maya felt a lump rise in her throat. She thought about her mother, about all the nights she had come home exhausted from cleaning rooms in hotels that would never offer her a seat at the table. She thought about all the times she had been dismissed, ignored, underestimated. And now she stood here, proving that they belonged. Maya gently placed a hand over the woman's. "This hotel belongs to everyone. You are always welcome here." The woman's lips trembled into a smile. "Thank you, baby. You have no idea what this means." Maya gave their hands a small squeeze before stepping aside. "Let me walk you to the front desk. I'll personally make sure you get the best room we have." As they walked together, the same employees who had once judged her now watched in silence. Some looked down, embarrassed. Others, especially the new staff, stood taller, knowing that real change had arrived. The world wasn't perfect. There was still a long way to go. But in this moment, Maya knew this was just the beginning. Have you ever faced discrimination? How did you handle it? Let's talk in the comments.